Hey guys, I'm Abby. Welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna make this intro really quick because I'm running late, but today is the opening day of the Dallas Quilt show. It is the largest show put on all by volunteers, and I know that because my mom and my sister both volunteer. I've volunteered before in the past years, but I don't have time to volunteer this year. But we're about to leave. It's Friday, so it's the opening day. I can't wait to see all the quilts. I did help my mom on some things, so I've seen some of the quilts because she's in charge of entries. But yeah, I can't wait to go look at the quilts and shop. I don't know how much I'll buy because I have so many projects already. But yeah, let's get going. It's down in Dallas in Market Hall. I have to go meet up with my mom and my sister and her daughter, my niece. So we're all gonna go together. Yeah, and I'll like show you guys around and show you quilts, and we're gonna maybe some shops. But yeah, I'm gonna get going because I'm running late. Yeah, let's go. So it's been a while since the Dallas show, but I figured I'd show you guys what I bought when I was there. I think the show went really great for being 2 years off. It was definitely less crowded and like everything was spaced out a lot more than what I remember from 2019, but they did really well considering they only dropped like the COVID protocols a couple weeks before the show. So there were still a lot of quilts, some beautiful quilts to see, and still a lot of shopping to do. I didn't buy much, but I will show you what I bought. But I had a really great time there this year, and I can't wait to see it kind of back in its full capacity, or full amount next year when there's hopefully no COVID. Even though there was a lot of shopping, there was definitely less than last year. From what I know, once they lifted all the restrictions, like the Dallas County lifted all the restrictions, I know the board, the quilt board, got a lot of like businesses and other people being like, well, can we get in now? Like once they lifted them, everyone wanted to come. So I think the show did really well considering the situation and kind of having to deal with all that. But the show went really well. I only got to go one day on Friday. Usually I'm there 2 or 3 days, but this year I had to work a lot during the show hours, so I didn't get to go as often as I usually do. I loved the quilts. You get to see, so many different quilts and different ranges of technique and skill sets. But yeah, can't wait to see it kind of back in full bloom next year. So now I'm going to show what I bought. This is all of it just in one bag. I think I purchased stuff at 2 different booths. I almost bought stuff from a 3rd booth, but I had a budget and I ended up spending it at one booth, and I'll kind of explain when I get there. But I'm really happy with what I bought, even though I didn't really need any of it or have certain projects for them. I'm glad to have them. It's just a little part of my stash, and I have ideas of what I want to do with some of them. So yeah, let's get started. So the first fabrics that I'm going to show you are all, I think, half yards. And then it was a booth and they had a big shelving unit, or a basket unit, and it just had all half yard cuts, and it said buy 6 for $20, which is I think $4 each, which is a pretty good deal. And so I just kind of scrounged around there and I picked out 6 half yard fabrics. So I'm gonna show you them right now. So here are the 6 fabrics I picked out. A lot of reds and pinks and blues. I'll show you them individually, but yeah, I got all of these for 20 bucks. First one I picked out is just these red and pink candy canes on white. I have similar fabric to this, and it's for a quilt set, and so I don't think I have backing or binding for it. So if this matches well enough with it, I might just use this for binding, because I think half a yard will be good enough for that. Usually is. But I haven't even started on that quilt, so I can check beforehand or not. It's not an immediate need. That was a cute little one. And then we have this darker one. The background is a bluish black. It looks like wood, and then it has these roses on it. That is pretty. And then the next one is a navy background with red and white stars, just kind of evenly spread out. And then this one is a peachy orangish, and it has tiny little dots kind of along with white cross hatches. And most of these I don't have a plan for, except for 1 or 2. I just thought they were pretty and add to my little stash of fabric. I don't want to make my stash too big. That's why I set myself a budget, 1, because I needed to not spend that much, and 2, because I don't have a lot of room to have a big stash. Plus my mom has such a big stash, I can always go to her house. So I wanted to limit myself and how much I bought, especially if I didn't have a plan for it. But the next fabric is this white one, and it has red and blue stars with blue lines in between them. So a lot of simple patterns to kind of go. And then the last one of these 6 half yard cuts I got is a white fabric with red and blue, lots of red, white, and blue in these. But this one has a floral pattern on it with blue dots. And I thought it was very pretty. Did you want to introduce the next fabric? So next I want to show you guys, I bought this at the same booth as the half yard fabrics, and this is my first time buying one of these, but I bought a panel. I've never bought a panel or worked on a quilt with a panel, but I thought this one was very pretty, and so I bought it, and I'll find fabric and just kind of, I don't know, freehand the designs around it. But this panel is called Southwestern Skies, and I think it's printed by Hoffman Fabric, but let me kind of show you. But it's, you know, like a desert sky. This is the top, and then at the bottom it has like a mountain and cactus. But I thought it was really pretty, and this was like $9.50. It was at the same booth where I bought the half yard fabrics. But yeah, that was my first panel to ever buy. I thought it was super pretty, and I can find a lot of good fabrics to go with it because it has so many colors. So yeah, I might be doing my first panel quilt sometime soon. Never bought a panel like this, and so I'm excited to use it and kind of experiment with how I want outside of it to look to make the quilt. I just thought the colors were so pretty, and it reminded me of when I went to like the national parks in Utah. Kind of remind me of the scenery there, so I picked it up. And that was all the stuff I bought from one booth. I don't remember the name of the booth or where they were from, but I don't usually look at those things. And then the rest of my budget went to this last booth I went to. I almost, in the clips you saw earlier, I almost bought like this really florally motif fabric that was like a line. It was, I think, it was very Texas themed with wildflowers and such. It had a lot of blue bonnets and other Texas wildflowers, but I ended up not buying that. After I looked at them, I think my mom or my sister called me and were like, hey, come to this booth, meet up with us. And so like I left it. I was like, I'll come back get it later, but I ended up not doing that because I ended up going to this other booth where I spent the last of my budget. But it's okay. It's a motif fabric. I know those are motif fabrics, or I know I can easily get those fabrics at a store near me, and I've seen very similar things before, so I thought they were beautiful and I almost bought some, but I ended up spending it on this other fabric. So these last fabrics were from a booth I've seen before at the show, but it is run by an elderly couple, and I was probably gonna buy something from them anyway, but what I learned was that they're going to like retire or like cut down a lot of their shows that they do because they're much older, and so they can't do it as much anymore. So basically the whole booth was 50% off, and so I ended up buying 4 pieces from them. That's why the last of my money went to their shop, but I was gonna buy something from them anyways. Their booth is all of Japanese fabrics and prints and such. I think they're really pretty. I remember when I went to Japan, I loved looking at the fabrics there. I don't think I bought any then because I obviously didn't quilt then. I think I did buy some for my mom because she quilted then, but I did not buy some for myself. But most of these I don't have an idea of what to do with, but I'll figure it out eventually. But this first one, these are still kind of stapled together, but I picked out this red fabric, and it has like the birds, the cranes on them, and then a lot of flowers. I thought it was really pretty. Again, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but it has lots of reds and greens and pinks, so I can figure out something to do with this. But that was the first one I picked up. And this second fabric, it has again a lot of reds and pinks, but this main background is green. It has a blue and also has the cranes in it, but I thought this one was really pretty. Again, don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it, but I loved how it looked, and since it was 50% off, I decided to go ahead and get it. Since I got 4 pieces, the last 2 are more panel-ish. I do sort of have an idea of what I want to do with these, but I'll show you what they look like. The first one has mostly a black background, but it has a geisha standing there along looking at the sea, and it kind of has the wave, kind of like the painting of the Great Wave. And then I'm pretty sure that's probably like Mount Fuji in the background. And I think it has cherry blossoms on it, but I thought it was really pretty. Has like a lot of different elements to it. It's not as big as the other pieces that I got, but I think I might like try to straighten this out and like frame it as like a wall hanging, just because it's kind of a picture in itself, because I don't know exactly if I would want to put this in like a quilt or a blanket or anything like that, but I thought it would look good as like a wall hanging to put in my bedroom. I might finally do some of the stuff I still have from when I visited Japan and hang it up with it. But yeah, I liked all the different elements within this kind of like picture on this one. And you also get like a lot of the flowers and stuff within her dress. So I thought it was really cool. The Great Wave is one of my favorites. So I liked that they added that element kind of in there. And the last one is like a very big panel. And I kind of want to use this. From when I was looking around the booth, I noticed like a lot of these fabrics came from kimonos or robes or kind of different outfits, and they were used to make those in Japan, and they brought them back. It's kind of like a recycled fabric type thing that they sell. But this one I want to recycle and put it in like the back piece of a robe or kimono. So I'm hoping to do that. The main fabric is black, so I think it'd be easy to match and like make a garment out of. But it has this large picture of a woman getting her makeup ready in her kimono dress. So it has a lot of pretty elements in her dress too, with the flowers and everything. And it's mostly red and blues. But I really thought it was really cool, so I thought I would use this in the main part of a back piece for making like a long robe or kimono to wear. So yeah, those are the 4 pieces I bought at the like Japanese fabric kind of booth, and I thought all of them were so pretty, and it was nice that they were on sale. And I wasn't gonna get this many. I was only probably gonna get one until I saw that or heard that they were, you know, on sale, because they probably weren't gonna come back. So then I decided to buy more of my budget on more of them. But yeah, I have ideas to make some of them a wall hanging, some of them put in clothes. Yeah, I bought 4 of them instead of just one, and that's where the rest of my money went. But yeah, that's all I bought at the Dallas Quilt show. I had a really great time at the show. I can't wait till next year, but now I have a few things to add into my small stash, and then a few kind of different projects to work on. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys liked seeing all the clips from the show and the quilts that I saw there. If you've never been to a quilt show, I highly recommend going. You get to see a lot of different types of quilts and skills used, some that I will never be able to make. And then also there's lots of shopping. You get to see all the new cool fabrics, unique fabrics. You know, it's just a lot of fun if you're, you know, into quilting. Comment down below if you've ever been to a quilt show, which one, what you thought about it. I would love to go to some other ones. I've been to the Dallas many times. I've been to the Houston one and some smaller ones around this area. Would love to hear about and go to some other ones that you guys might recommend. But I will see you guys in the next video, hopefully sewing, because I'm finally getting my machine back and hopefully can get a lot of projects done. I'll see you guys later. Bye.